Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and this is the weekend that I finally got over 300 subscribers. I say finally, it didn't actually take that long. This is also the weekend I got brand new channel art for you to check out, and also it's a very good time to subscribe because the channel now looks uber professional and shit, so really good time. But today we are talking about the kicking off of the Extreme E Championship. We've obviously been waiting a long time for this. It was delayed from the start of the year as well. But it finally kicked off in Saudi Arabia. So we're going to talk about that. We have a few other things to talk about as well. There wasn't a lot of racing action this weekend, but we have got Super Formula and Australian stuff to discuss. So yeah, stick around for that. And let's begin.
Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
So I did start taking notes on the Extreme E action, but honestly they're not really, it's not worth going back through everything that happened because there wasn't actually a lot of individual events that happened. It's kind of, this is like the first running of this format. They've done like one test in Spain and then they had the shakedown the day before this all started, which didn't go well. I think Sarah Price was the first one out and it broke down on her, so they didn't have a great start to the weekend. And obviously with anything, this has all been done on paper and they're going, yeah, this looks good. And this is obviously the first time seeing how it plays out in real life. It's a spectacle. The cars look really cool. They go, like the big hill they dropped down, that was fucking incredible. The dust being kicked up is dramatic. It looks like a lot of fun as well. But I don't really like the format very much, especially in qualifying, where they do the driver changes. Oh, they actually do driver changes in the races as well. But it's where they have to sort of drive up to the pits, slow down, pull in. The other dude or woman runs out and they switch and they have to wait for, I think it's a minimum of 45 seconds, and then they can pull off slowly and then go. It kind of stops the action a little bit. It would be better, obviously more expensive, but it'd be better if one car pulled up and the other car is there ready to go and they just shoosh. That would be cool. It just stopped the action a bit too much for me. It was, the lap's quite long. So yeah, each one is like around about 5 minutes. And then you got like a minute in between where they're changing drivers and then another 5 minutes. And, if it wasn't broken up by that 1 minute where they're just slowly driving into the pits and having a drink and a chat and then shooting off again, it would be fine. That being said, I think what they had in their mind that was going to happen in the races didn't actually happen, because the commentators talked about it like all over the weekend, all over the qualifying and the races, that this is going to be like Carlos Sainz is going to struggle because he's a rally driver and he's never had to bang doors on the racetrack. It didn't happen like that. Like, they were close at the start and then the driver that's good at this sort of stuff pulled away, and I think in both races, was it 3 races? I think in all 3 races they had like a 30-second gap between first and second and then another 30-second gap between second and third. There was no close racing. Honestly, in the future, maybe if they get a few more cars, maybe instead of having like one car for 2 drivers, they have 2 cars, bigger fields. They can actually run like a rallycross format where they have like heat races and then like the semi-finals and the final. That would work a lot better, because I don't really understand why you have like the best 3 cars from qualifying go into one race and then you have 4, 5 and 6 in a crazy race apparently, and then there's like a shootout, which we didn't see because first Stefan Sarzan wrecked his car. So we didn't get to see Jamie Chadwick have a go at this. She sat out the entire weekend because Sarazan wrecked the car. And then Claudia Hurtgen did their car dirty as well. There's a massive crash. That obviously, Ekstrom wasn't out. I think in the second qualifying round, the American team, I forget which one it is. I forget the names of the teams. Chip Ganassi. They didn't come out in qualifying, so only 6 came out for the second part of qualifying. Great start to the series. So that was really all that happened in qualifying. There was 2 massive accidents, and then it was just like getting used to the track and stuff. It was interesting, but I mean, if you ran a lot of these, that would get tiring very quickly. Like if you had 5 rounds of this, that'd be enough. I don't need to see it ever again. They need to mix it up a little bit. I would probably have shorter laps. I wouldn't do like 5 minutes for each driver. It'd be like maybe 2 laps of a minute switch, and then do another 2 laps of a minute. Have the big drop, a couple of hairpins. That's it. Because there wasn't a lot on that lap that was spectacular. I mean, it all looks cool because it's all like dust kicking up and there's jumps and ruts. You could fit all that into like a minute lap and it'd be fine. And more like rallycross, I'm thinking. I think that would just fit the format better they're going for. If they want to do a rally raid, they could do that too. This is kind of a mushing of the two, and I don't think it really works very well because the gaps between the cars are just still too big. The lap's too long for that, I think. In my opinion, anyway. We'll see as it progresses, because I'm sure they're going to fettle with it and make changes and sort of fiddle with the format, try and get it working. This is sort of like a test year for it, because they haven't done any real testing for it. So this is how it's, you know, they've done the paper model and they're going, yeah, do that. Try it out. What doesn't work, you can change. There's no problem. Overall, I think it was still very exciting. I still really enjoyed watching it. It was obviously, there's more to it than just the racing, because they want to teach you about climate change as well. On that front, it's not too heavy. It was all very simple information, really. But we're not really telling you anything you didn't already know. If you've like been on the BBC News, they've probably mentioned desertification once or twice. And you probably heard about it, but it's still interesting. They do it quite well. And when they were talking about the actual ship they brought, that was the most interesting part, and how they've like modified it to work for, because it was like an old Royal Mail ship, and then they've converted it for like transporting these cars all over the world. That was very interesting. Really enjoyed that. I mean, what else can we talk about with Extreme E? Team Rosberg versus Team Hamilton. I don't really see it like that. I mean, I know it's their teams, but I mean, I'm guessing Lewis Hamilton doesn't have that much to do with it. There's people running it for him. So, I mean, he probably makes the most basic decisions. Nico Rosberg, I mean, he was there, and apparently he like hired Johan Kristoffersson and I presume Molly Taylor as well. So he does seem to be really involved with it. Maybe Lewis Hamilton's probably too busy because he's got his Formula 1 campaign to worry about, whereas Nico Rosberg is sitting on the couch eating crisps. But I mean, I guess Team Rosberg drew first blood. Okay. But it was exciting. Johan Kristoffersson's a great driver. I like him a lot. I've been watching World Rallycross. The final was actually very much a World Rallycross final. I'm sure we've seen Timmy Hansen, Sebastian Loeb and Johan Kristoffersson in a World Rallycross final at some point. Molly Taylor did a great job. She was pretty much on pace with the men, apparently. They didn't actually... I mean, if I had any problems with the coverage, there wasn't really like... it'd have been interesting to see everyone's individual times over the lap. I know because they're starting from different points, I think. Like the garage wasn't... Yeah, it'd be complicated, but it'd have been nice to see how they all compared with each other. We didn't really get that. So, as I said, Extreme E was really good, but the coverage and maybe the format needs a little bit of fiddling with. But it will work eventually. They'll get there. This would make a great video game. It should be a standalone video game, and they could go crazy with it. Like, because, I mean, like, you got your... Like, you can have the standard championship, but you can have fucking races in volcanoes and shit, and teach about the environment there and stuff. I don't know. There's plenty of opportunity to make something really good of this, and I think they're on track. It just needs a little bit of work. So yeah, Extreme E, really good start in Saudi Arabia. Next round's in Senegal in May, I think, end of May. So I am looking forward to the second round. I'll be interested to see if they change anything, see if all the same drivers are still there. So yeah, I mean, it was a success. Let's class it as a mild success. What else happened? Shane van Gisbergen won the Bathurst 6 hours, meaning that he is now 9 for 9 in 2021. So, yeah, he's still the best driver of 2021 so far, or at least most impressive. And it's another accolade to add to his trophy cabinet, because I think he's only the second driver to win the Bathurst 1000, the Bathurst 12 hour and the Bathurst 6 hour, with the other being Paul Morris. It's just been an incredible year for him so far, Van Gisbergen. So I think Supercars is next week, so it's going to be a case of can you make it 12 from 12? Which the odds must be astronomical at this point, but if anyone can do it, it's him. I haven't watched TCR Australia yet, and I do like that series, so I will be sitting down to watch that. Maybe some of the other action from Bathurst as well, because I think there's a whole weekend of stuff. Super Formula. Wasn't the most interesting race. We were promised rain, and we didn't get rain. It's interesting about the tyre blankets, and the cars were like locking their brakes and sliding wide when they're coming out the pits. There was a bit of action at the start. It was okay. It was nothing special. But I do like Super Formula, and maybe that's something we can talk about more this year, because I've done like the what happened to the champions. I did that on the whole Super Formula history all the way back to like Japan F3 in 1977 or something. And I've done it in like weekend roundups where I've talked about it. But I do really like Super Formula. And that's why I'm a big fan of Nick Cassidy, because I spent the last few years watching him in Super Formula be doing really well. And there's a lot of Japanese drivers who could probably do well in Europe who don't really get a chance. But yeah, so if you don't watch Super Formula, you should. It's pretty good. I did try watching the Super Lights, but I can only find it with Japanese commentary and no graphics on the screen. And I've got no idea what's fucking going on. Made it really hard to watch. So I didn't. I'm also going to be live streaming later. So I'm going to upload this video as soon as I can. So, busy weekend for me. But yeah, I'm going to upload a new... I haven't actually changed the channel art yet, but I have new channel art. So you'll see that in a minute. And all is good. So yeah, thank you for subscribing. It's amazing getting over 300 so quickly. I think it's only October we got over 100. And then it was this year we got over 200. And it's like the start of April and now over 300. So it's flying. You're all subscribing so quickly. Thank you very much. I'm going to keep making content. I've got more videos planned for this week, so stick around. Leave a comment saying whatever you want. Tell me what you thought about Extreme E. I'd be interested to hear. How would you change it? How would you mix up the format? Was there anything you liked? Was there anything you disliked? Whatever. Put it in the comments. We'll discuss it. We'll tell them and we'll make it better for them. So yeah, thank you for watching and have a good one.